Today, as part of our Business Spotlight program, I'm with Gina Murphy, and she's the owner of Hugo's Restaurant in Marion Row in Dublin. So over to you, Gina. What is it you do and for how long you've been doing it?
Hi, thank you for having me on. What is it I do? I don't know if you can really put it all into one sentence, but so I run a restaurant here on Marion Row. I will be 18 years open in August this year, but it's not my first restaurant, it's my third. So I started off becoming self-employed in 2001. So I'm a while at it, but I grew up in the industry, so I don't know if I would know what else to do.
Very good, very good. Well, any restaurant lasting that long, or as long as you have been, is a success in itself. And I know as well, Gina, when we were chatting before, you also in your spare time chair a couple of charities. What are they, and what do they do?
So, I work closely with two charitable organizations. So one is I'm the chairperson of Tourist SOS, which
Okay.
is it's a wonderful, fantastic service here, and we're the only service of its kind in Europe. And basically, what we do is we offer immediate, compassionate, and um, practical support to tourists, international tourists to Ireland who become the victims of crime or an accident, a mishap, lost property. I've left my passport on the air coach. I don't know how to leave the country or visa, anything like that. We are there to help and we step in and we liaise between the airlines, the embassies, credit card companies, and we provide really practical assistance to get the tourists back on track on their holidays or help them wrap up their holidays in a proper and meaningful way without them being completely discombobulated. And it's really a wonderful service. And we've just rebranded. So when we rebranded, we trademarked and registered the name for the whole of Europe. So we hope to start spreading our wings.
Fantastic. And last year you helped how many people were you saying?
Last year, over 2,100 tourists.
Wow, that's
Yeah, it's pretty
fantastic.
phenomenal.
Yep.
Pretty phenomenal.
And you're also, if I remember rightly, Kylemore Abbey. You're on the board.
Yes, yeah. Very Kylemore Abbey is a lot of people would know it as being a tourist attraction or they would know it as being part of the Benedictine community. So I'm a very lucky girl. I'm a past pupil of there and I have to tell you, it has a very special place in my heart. So when I got the call a couple of years ago to sit on the advisory committee to the board, it wasn't a call I could turn down. So and I kind of leaned towards this the other day, but I was saying to you when I got the call, I said, "What? Why me?" And they said, "Because you're a past pupil." And I said, "But I'm your worst past pupil." Um, but anyway, the it's just such a pleasure working with the nuns. They're an absolute gorgeous community. They were so good to us as students and as young girls coming through their hands. And it was a very small school. There was only 82 of us as boarders over 6 years.
Well,
There were day girls as well. And so we're all very, very close. And we're very close with the nuns because of that, because it was so small. And we were in the middle of nowhere. You can't exactly do anything wrong down there. So
but
um,
as a tourist attraction, I think there was a huge number visiting.
yes, so it last year over 550,000 people crossed the gates,
Wow.
crossed the threshold. So it's a multifaceted thing. It's no longer so it was a boarding school when I was there. It's no longer a boarding school, but it is still a place of education. So while the nuns no longer run the educational, the traditional educational side, they have entered into a strategic partnership with Notre Dame University from the States.
Wow.
And Notre Dame have their global outreach footprint in Kylemore. So it is still a seat of learning. And the nuns are still there. And it's really very special. We've been working for the last number of years to build them a new monastery, which we just completed last August and they moved in. So a very, very special time. And I'm very honored. I now sit on the board as opposed to the advisory committee. So I really do feel very honored and it is a pleasure to work with them on all the facets with the community and on the commercial and tourist end of it as well. There are so many different um,
That's good. Yeah.
sparkly. parts to this.
Fantastic. And just going back to Hugo's restaurant, I mean, what would you put down? You know, it's there for so long. What would you put down? I mean, the business has been growing. Why do you think it's been so successful over these number of years?
Um, I don't know. I suppose I'm a little terrier at times. I don't give up.
Okay, good stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
so persistent.
I'm here almost every day,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, and I think that's a huge part of it is that people get to know you and they become friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they come in the door, there's hugs and kisses, and they feel like they're coming to somewhere that's special, and which is a double-edged sword, which means that I'm not here. People go, "Oh, I was in the restaurant, and you weren't there," and
Yeah, right,
breaking the
right.
heart.
Uh,
No,
but fantastic. Yeah, and this is it. I mean, it's always been important, but it's the emotional connection you have with your customers as it
yeah,
makes a huge impact, both for referrals and for people coming back, loyalty, I suppose, you know.
yeah.
So fantastic. And if you had to start square one in business, what would you do differently?
I think I would, and I know this is very easy to say, I think I would pay myself properly.
Okay, interesting. A lot of business owners don't.
Yeah. Um, when you start it off, you give yourself, you say, oh, I'll be okay, I'll work for, and you end up working for the clippings of tin for a million years, and you don't give yourself the time that you would give your employees. You don't give yourself proper holiday. At one stage, I went for over 5 years without taking a holiday.
Oh God, yeah,
Not even a long weekend. And that's not good,
no,
but it's just you're in the thick of it and you keep going, I can't take the time. I need to be here. And suddenly you get 20 years down the line and you say, I've missed all these weddings and birthdays and just friends and family barbecues and just little things, or I never took a proper holiday, or, I should have been lying on a beach, recharging my batteries instead of running myself into the ground. And I think you get so bogged down in it all that you don't see the bigger picture and you don't look after yourself. And one of the things is if you had to pay somebody else to do your job, what would you have to pay them?
exactly. Yeah,
And for a million years, I've worked for less than minimum wage. So
yes, yes. Yeah, I say that sometimes to business owners to get them to look at it. I say you're paying yourself below minimum wage. You're going to have to report you.
yeah. But you do it because you know that at the end, you're going to have a good brand and a strong business, and you do put it in. But I think if I was to advise anybody, it would just be take a proper day off, turn off your phone. I never did that, and now that we are closed for one day since COVID, I'm it's like having a holiday every week, just that one day off.
So, and have you been able to take holidays since then?
We closed for a couple of weeks between Christmas and mid-January
Okay.
because where the restaurant's located is just off the corner of Stephen's Green, but it's not in the shopping area. It's in the commercial and business area, and everybody is working
Um,
from home if I can work from home. So there's nobody in my neck of the woods for those 2 or 3 weeks. So it's actually worked out well. Um, and to put this in business terms, you lose less money by closing than by opening. And that's something that you have to weigh up is you have to do the math. And this way it works perfect because we have a hard 6 weeks run into Christmas and then everybody gets 3 weeks off. Sure, they love it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. No, I like working with businesses over the years. Holidays are not a luxury. You need to take them. You need to recharge, as you say, and from a business point of view, you're just more on top of your game with it when
Yes, yeah.
what fantastic. Glad you get 3 weeks. Um,
Well, it's not a full 3 weeks, but I do get a week in the sun. But the other 2 weeks, I'd be in and around here, but not while the business is operating. So you can actually just tip
mhm.
in and out for an hour or two.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and what have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you began in business?
Um, okay, so there's a few things that I would bring, and one is one of the best things that I ever did for the business, but also as an employer, is to employ a full-time financial controller
Wow.
and not just a bookkeeper or not try and stay on top of everything myself because I was burning myself out in the beginning. For the first couple of years, my entire staircase was alphabetical files of suppliers' invoices. Um, and the panic then when you had to do your VAT returns and your tax returns and your PRSI and your PAYE, and it was just overwhelming. And then for a couple of years, I had a bookkeeper, which is wonderful, but it's still not an overarching minder of your business. It's just somebody who's doing something for you.
Mhm.
So when I came here to Hugo's, the it was imperative, and I hired a full-time financial controller, and it covers everything, and it has taken the weight off my shoulder. And as a business, it's one of the most crucial wages that you can pay out.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You have to know your numbers and
Yeah,
you
but it also, my financial controller covers everything. So covers the HR, covers all the employment stuff, covers everything. So she would know the price of a chicken breast, but she'll also know exactly where we stand with regards to holiday pay. With it, just she's like a little clone of me, if you know what I mean, insofar as she knows everything about the business that I know about the business.
fantastic, fantastic. No, that's great advice. Great advice. And here's one I know, well, we sort of covered it already, but how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
I don't.
Next question.
My personal life is in the restaurant. I've great crack in the restaurant and all my friends come in, but no, I'm really bad at it. Trust me, I'm really bad. The only time I really step away from the business is when I step out of Dublin, and that tends to be for the charity work or um yeah, if I get on a plane, even if it's over to London for a night or two, I can switch off.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm pretty useless. I really am. Like my partner is a chef, not here with me, and he works, in a wonderful five-star hotel near here, but he's very disciplined and he leaves when his work is done, whereas I'll still find things to do, like that aren't crucial. I'll still be cleaning a corridor or putting away wine stock. And, he said to me one day, he said, I go to bed on my own every night. You're
Okay.
never home. And it's not that I'm out. I'm in work. So I'm really bad. I need to give myself a good shake, actually.
Yeah, I think
On.
it starts with a mindset shift. If you
Mm.
decide you're going to do it, then you'll find ways to do it, but that's a whole different discussion.
I've been threatening to get back into the swimming pool for the last year. My swim gear is beside the desk here.
There's a pool up in where Townsend Street or somewhere like that near.
There's a few nearby here,
Yeah,
and yeah, I come up with every excuse. Oh,
yeah,
don't have a
fine.
hair dryer, can't do the hair.
Okay. Um, so again, going to the employees, what qualities do you look for in employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
What do I look for? A smile.
Oh, good. Okay.
Smile. That's the most crucial thing because when you come in here, you're going to be part of the team and part of the family. So I have here in Hugo's, I have 27 full-time staff.
Right.
Sorry, 27 staff, 24 are full-time,
Hmm.
3 are part-time. So we really do work very closely together. We also, it's really important that they're good people. I don't tolerate bitching or shouting or anything like that. Nobody's allowed to raise their voice here.
Interesting. Mhm.
I've worked down through the years with people who can get angry, and it's it's soul destroying on every single person in the business, myself included. So I have a golden rule: the only person allowed to raise their voice is me, and I don't do it, so nobody else is allowed to. Um, and
Okay.
it's a culture of respect,
Good.
and that's something I don't tolerate. I just can't. It's taken me a long time to realize that just because somebody is very talented doesn't give them reign to be, and can I curse? Or just not really, but it doesn't allow them to be not a nice person or a bully. And I've learned that, I suppose the hard way. It was only when somebody left my employee that I realized how toxic they were
Mhm.
and how mean they were to people. And I swore after that I would never let it happen again.
Fantastic.
And it's just, it's not fair on anybody, and it's not fair on me either to have to realize that people are working in those conditions. So no, we have a very fair, like say on the floor, we don't do split shifts anymore. I'm really adamant that people have to have a life outside of here so that they enjoy coming to work. Not
Mhm.
that their home life is not enjoyable, but that it's not like, oh, I got to go to work today. I want them to be happy coming to work. So
Yep.
we're all pals here. I work just as hard, if not harder, than anybody else here in the building. I'm certainly here the longest every week. So, you know, I seat the customers, I check the tables, I run food, I take orders, I do stock takes, I do every part of the business because my mum brought me up in a culture that A, you never ask anybody to do anything you wouldn't do yourself,
Yep.
and B, uh, never walk from A to B without carrying C. So like you have to be productive in what you're doing, but also you've got to be very respectful to all the people you're working with.
Fantastic. No, it's one I do a lot of work with business owners to get a positive culture. If you get the culture right,
Hmm.
the strategies are simple, and vice versa. If the culture
Yeah.
isn't right, the strategies are hard to implement. I think it was Peter Drucker back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite things that he said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you definitely work on, if you got the culture right, which sounds like you have.
Well, we do, and we've a fantastic mix. Out of the 27 people here, we have 13 different nationalities.
Wow.
And it's just magic. It's
Fantastic.
absolutely magic. There's no issues. I was locking up here the other night, and there were seven of us standing at the front desk having the crack, and I realized I was the only Irish person, and we were belly laughing.
Good.
Like it was just, it's fantastic. They've all got wonderful cultures. They've all got great life experience, and they're all career professionals because they're full-time staff.
Good.
So we're all of the same ethos. We're all here to look after people. Like it's in our DNA. It doesn't matter whether you're from Venezuela or from France or from Ireland. We're in hospitality. We're here to look after you. So when we have that common gene, everything else is very easy to get over. Languages, we English is our language here. Um, and we kind of put a full stop to things when people started talking different languages. We said, no, that's the only rule I have. It has to be all through English because everybody has to be able to participate. So,
Fantastic. Fantastic. And maybe just to round off, what are some common misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them?
um, listen, it's a joyful thing. It really is. And if I love looking after everybody, like my crew here are my crew, and I'm very protective over them all. I will fight for them all. I fought for all my people through COVID, and not just my people, but everybody in the industry, because like I really do believe that people who work in hospitality are phenomenal people. I mean, we work nights, we work weekends, um, we work to make sure that everybody else has a good time. And I think that's something that has to be rewarded insofar as acknowledged by the powers that be in times when they go, oh, it's just they're just waiters and waitresses. Oh, that just boils my blood. But yeah, and I suppose that's why I was very vocal about it. I grew up in a small family hotel in Ballina, County Mayo. My mum had a hotel. And I mean, there's certain things that were indoctrinated in us. And I suppose this is why I get involved in things outside of the industry. One is um, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So if, yeah,
I like
if
that
you
one.
don't get if you don't get involved in things that affect you, you have no say, and you will be carved up and sliced up and fed to whoever.
I,
So
I got to
um,
use that one in the future, Gina. Yeah,
well, that's from my mom. And the other thing is she always had a culture of everybody is part of the family. And because of that, that's why I am very protective over my crew and the people of the industry, is because we are a family. And we're a very special trade, and we have a very special skill set. And I'm very adamant that that should never be just taken for granted or dismissed.
Gina, it's been fantastic talking to you here. There's a whole bunch of pearls in there for our viewers. I really appreciate you taking the time
You're
out of your
welcome.
very busy day. And we, uh,
Please, and the one thing I really do, like, if you feel that you want to get into business, but be prepared. Don't go in thinking that just because you love cooking is going to make you a great restaurateur. You have to be able to run a business. So base your business model on real facts and figures, and you know, just be smart about things. Don't think that you can get away with, you know, budgeting for X amount of staff when you haven't budgeted for the PRSI or their holiday pay as well. So just be smart. Take lessons in how to run a business before you open one.
fantastic. I appreciate it. Thanks very much, Gina.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.